Hey guys, Haley again. I'm kind of shooting these out rapid fire because I have the day off. Okay. So right after I ended up watching The Purge, which I actually just reviewed, so you guys should totally check it out. Um, I ended up also I was flipping through some old movies that I wanted to see back when they were in theaters, but unfortunately at the time I couldn't afford nor to go or anything like that because the dollar theater that we had around here was actually it went out of business. So all we have is you can either pay $6 or you could pay roughly from 6 to 8.75 for a movie ticket. And I'd rather not take the gamble for that much money to go ahead and spend that much on a movie that's potentially bad. I don't gamble like that unless it's an actual in a gambling casino, but even then I'm not old enough for that. Hmm, I'd rather not do it with movies. But anyway, I ended up going through all my old movies in order to go ahead and find another movie to review. And I know it's not current like The Purge, but it was roughly around the same time. As you can tell from the title, I'm going to be doing Warm Bodies. It was oddly enough, it was really stupid and corny, but I couldn't help but like it. I don't know why. I just found this really weird. It was in this weird niche of movies where it wasn't exactly a comedy, but it wasn't exactly taking itself seriously. So it was in that really weird place. And honestly, when I first heard about it and I saw the trailer and everything, I was like, oh, that's going to be really stupid, but I'll go see it if it's at the Dollar Theater. And when I couldn't go see it in the Dollar Theater, I decided in order to look it up online and see if I could find it there. I ended up finding a good enough website in order to go ahead and watch it. So right after watching The Purge, a seriously twisted movie, I ended up watching Warm Bodies at like 12 at night. I have no life. You all should know this by now. Other than work, but that doesn't count. Um, so I ended up watching Warm Bodies. Basically, it's about a zombie who falls in love with a human who hasn't been infected, and he slowly but surely starts spending more and more time with her and is reverting back to human. But it's a very arduous process. First, he can only ever really grunt and maybe get like one word out, like one solid word. But then the more time he spends with her, the more he's able to communicate and whatnot. And there's these crazy steps above zombies called bonies or skeletons, as the humans call them. Um, some of the zombies are actually friendly. Um, the main female protagonist's father is John Malkovich. What the heck? So he's the human rebel leader. Let's see. There's a lot going on in this movie, surprisingly enough, now that I think about it. But anyway, so basically at the start, like the one thing that really kind of made it silly and corny was the fact that the main zombie, which he'll get the name R later because he just remembers his name starts with an R. Um, he has this inner monologue that reminds me a lot of the inner monologue that the thief and the cobbler had with Tack and the thief, with Jonathan Winters and Matthew Broderick. I at first thought that that was really going to get on my nerves, um, but after a while, like, you kind of got used to it, and it was kind of funny because how much of a contrast there was between the actual character and what he was thinking. So it made it a little bit more interesting and kind of hilarious. But so he ends up going after the girl, and she apparently has a boyfriend named Perry, which I don't know why anybody would name their son Perry. No offense if any of you name Perry, but every time I hear Perry, I think of Perry the platypus. Can't help it. Anyway, so go ahead and he accidentally kills the boyfriend, and the only way the zombies are able to quote unquote dream or anything is to eat the brains of people in order to absorb their memories. And he like whenever he goes to go after the girl, he stuffs pieces of Perry's brain in his pocket and he munches on them every once in a while. It's really freaking weird, but it's kind of hilarious. Um, and he's slowly but surely getting this girl to feel for him because he's trying to protect her and everything. But one thing that bothered me was that zombies are not supposed to have all that great motor control. I mean, some of them are able to run fast and everything, but they really don't have much use of their arms for a complicated sense. Yeah, R is so much more different because he's able to open up a freaking hatch door on the side of an airplane, and he's also able to freaking work a record player correctly. I mean, like taking up the record, putting it like lifting the needle, putting the record on the little spindle, put the needle back down, and all this complicated movements, and he's able to do them pretty damn well. So that was kind of confusing for the most part. I mean, and then the rest of the time he's like trying to bash himself through doors and shit. So it's kind of like, well, figure it out. Are, are you capable or not? Um, so a little bit of inconsistency there. It's also interesting. I really hate the freaking male protagonist, the female protagonist's best friend. She's so irritating. She reminds me. It's not like I hate the character, but she reminds me of Darcy from Thor, um, one or two. Um, but anyway, so um, basically, they spend more and more time together. R becomes more human, and yada yada yada, and then it ends up transferring whenever he sees his quote unquote best friend, whose name I think you end up finding out his name is Marcus. It keeps transferring over to him, and apparently, he starts feeling things, and then transfers to the other zombies and everything. But the only ones who can't change back are the bonies because they're too far gone. And that's where it starts divulging into serious. And with the way that it's viewed at already as being kind of funny and kind of not, it's hard nor to take it seriously, and yet the creatures, the bonies, are really freaking cool. I mean, they're intimidating looking. I mean, and that's saying a lot, especially in a movie like this, where it almost seemed out of place. I mean, a creature like that reminds me a lot of how I imagined what the weird vampire things in I Am Legend would look like without skin. That's what that reminded me of. Um, but anyway, so yeah, so at the very end and everything like that, the zombies are slowly reverting back to normal, and R turns human, and yada yada yada, all this really happy jazz. But honestly, the way they went about it, they did a very good job in creating this world, this apocalyptic world, and making it feel empty everywhere else except for the human camp and the airport where all the zombies apparently made their home or anything like that. And they did a good job in, showing just how dark and foreboding this apocalyptic Earth looked when everybody was dying of this disease and turning into zombies. But like it was really silly. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's a really silly movie. But if you can get past the campy, then you're gonna love it. Because it's just there's something about it that just has this little charm where it knows it shouldn't take itself too seriously, but there are some things that you should take seriously. And they do a decent job going back and forth between the two. You just really have to suspend your disbelief. Like you can't go into this movie with logic. You really cannot. Because this movie just does not have logic. It doesn't function on the realm of logic, and it really shouldn't, especially with a premises like this. I asked a couple friends of mine who saw it, and they were very split on it. I mean, half of them liked the movie, and the other half didn't, and they both have valid points. And I'm kind of in the middle. I mean, I would see it again if it was on, but I wouldn't go out of my way to see it again. Um, I mean, maybe if it was in a bargain bin at Walmart or something, I would go buy it. Just to have that one thing where if it was a rainy day and there was nothing else good to watch, I'd watch it. It's just one of those things. Like if it came on TV or something. Um, I would probably give it like a 3.5 out of 4 or out of 5, maybe a 4 out of 5. Not as good as The Purge, but I still did enjoy it. I'm not sorry I saw it. Um, Not sure if I would have paid $6 to see it though. Um, yeah, I probably would not have paid that much, which is why I'm glad I saw it online, so that way I didn't feel like I got cheated or anything like that. In case if I decided later, kind of like with Maleficent or Deliver Us from Evil, that the more I talked about it, the more I hated it. So, but I've been talking about it for a little while, because I saw it like 2 days ago, and Honestly, I've been talking about it, and I'm not in that suspension of hating it just yet. So I think it's safe to say that I like it. So anyway, yeah, so 3.5, maybe 4 out of 5. Um, I'm not sure what I'll be doing next. I haven't really been poking around or anything like that for any movies that I want to see. I was thinking about doing Transformers, but if you want my opinion, just go ahead and look up the Nostalgia Critics discussion about it. Not whenever he takes over Bum Review, not that. Doug Walker's take on Transformers 4. That's pretty much how I feel too. I mean, it's the same thing. So, yeah, so that's it. And I will see you guys next time. See ya.